Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My mother only has one asset, her house. She doesn't even have enough savings to bank her own retirement. My wife and I pay for it. My wife is a doctor, so she makes great money, and we can afford taking care of her. We've been sending her about $2,000 a month for 5 years now. We also take care of any incidental, emergency expenses. We also have all major house repairs, and I have never asked my sister to contribute, as she is not as well off as we are. My mom wanted to get her finances in order, and she asked me to help. She talked about wanting to get her will written. She said she wanted to give the house to my sister. She has no other asset of note, and it would mean that my sister gets almost 90% of her assets. I've always known that my mom would skew the inheritance more towards her, and I didn't mind that. I thought I could help my sister by helping her. My sister needs it more, and we are already doing so well. I am really upset by this. I know it is greedy to be focused on the house, but it makes me feel horrible. I am the one who is always with her when she is sick, and she practically cuts me off the will. My sister isn't struggling herself. She is comfortably middle class. If she was really struggling, I would have understood it. This is about a month ago. The house needs some repairs again, and my mom asked me to pay for it. I called my sister and told her that I want her to contribute for half the expenses. I know it is petty, but I don't get why I should pay for a house which I will never get. She talked to Mom, and she is upset with me for asking my sister for money, and she thinks it is very petty and greedy of me to ask for money from someone who doesn't make as much as we do, when we could afford it. I do feel like an a-hole. I can understand why she is doing it, and if I think about it rationally, I can see why she would want to give the house to my sister. But I still feel horrible about it. She also feels I'm being a horrible sister by forcing her to pay for stuff and just dropping it on her head. Not the a-hole. Let your sister repair the house she's going to get. You've paid enough already, and she can take over. I'd even go so far as to issue an ultimatum. The house is split evenly, or you stop your allowance since you get no gratitude for your family's sacrifice. All of these people are looking to get W's in the mouth. You've been very generous taking care of your mother and helping her keep her house. But maybe it's time for your mother to sell her house and downsize to something she can afford, or afford with less financial support from you. Since it sounds unlikely you will get any sort of inheritance, you also should be saving for you and your spouse's retirement to make sure you both are comfortable later in life. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I have heard, though, that whoever treats an elderly person the best is usually treated the worst. I saw some of this when my oldest sister was helping my great aunt. Also, life throws curveballs. Who knows where you might financially be in 10 years? So, my mother died last Wednesday. She wrote on the will that the house belongs to Sister 1, and if she sells it, 90% of the proceeds go to Sister 1, and 10% go to me. Problem. There's a third child, an estranged sister. Let's call her Sister 2. And my mother did not get the will witnessed or notarized, which in Florida is needed to uphold a will. Sister 1 has been living in this house for about 10 years now, but every lawyer that we've talked to said that it doesn't matter. The house will be split 3 ways by a judge. Sister 1 wants to keep the house, even though she can't afford the mortgage, and technically, she can't even keep it since it belongs to all 3 of us. She's saying I'm an a-hole because I'm not giving up my third of the house to her like our mom wanted, and for not helping her pay the mortgage she can't afford. She's refusing to start any of the process needed to put the house under the 3 siblings' names and sell it, so we can try to sell it. If we don't sell it, and she misses any of the mortgage payments, the house could be lost, and then no one gets anything. I offered to help with the mortgage for 6 months to hopefully sell the house in that time. But she's still saying I'm not doing enough to help her keep the house, and should be helping for longer, while she continues to drag her feet and prolongs having to split the house 3 ways. Next week, I'm going to go above her and start the process myself, since technically, any of the 3 of us can do it. She hasn't even told Sister 2 that she has a claim to the house. She's been trying to find loopholes to cut her off since she was estranged from us. But, sorry, legally she has a right to a third of the house. She also wants us to buy her out, but I don't have that kind of money, and I have no problem with the house being split. I don't understand why I should be expected to give up my legal right to a third, and help her pay the mortgage. Edit. Seems like a 30-70 in favor of being the a-hole. I'll say this, both Sister 1 and I have helped our mom financially and medically. When I came back and it looked like it was turning bad, I had already assumed my mom had left the house to Sister 1. And while I get the emotional part of this, every lawyer Sister 1 and I have talked to say that Sister 2 is getting a third. I refuse to have Sister 2 take a third, while Sister 1 takes her third and mine, while I get nothing. But thanks for the comments and takes. Edit 2. People keep asking about the 90% and 10%. Sister 1 is 30, but she lived at home for 10 years with no real bills. She did this straight out of college, not because our mom needed any type of care. She only paid $150 in rent for those 10 years and wasn't even working full-time. I do understand why my mom would have wanted her to have the largest share, since from her point of view, Sister 1 has no income and honestly anything else. And Sister 2 getting nothing also makes sense as her fallout with our mom was very big. But both Sister 1 and I helped with mom's bills and medical care when needed. I even paid for my mom's life insurance for about 2 years. It's really Sister 1's denial that unless I help with the mortgage, she's losing the house that's getting me. Sister 2 is getting her third whether we like it or not. Sister 1 is not going to be able to keep the house. Her dragging her feet is going to cost me money, not from the house, but because I'm going to have to pay for this mortgage to make sure we don't lose the house before it's sold. And even if I do that, I'm expected to give up my third? I've just seen your other post in legal advice, and you were checking in on this the day your mom went to a hospice. You dressed that post up as wanting to honor your mom's wishes, but in this post, you want to screw your sister out of what she was intended to get. The sister who has lived there the past 10 years, probably been the mom's full-time carer, and helped with the mortgage that entire time. You're the a-hole infinitely again. You're the a-hole for not letting the sister continue living in the house like your mom wanted. But you don't have to help her pay the mortgage too. She needs to figure that out herself. This judgment is not about what's potentially legally yours. Your mom died last week. Lay off the greedy a-hole moves for a hot second. Everyone sucks here. You know what your mom wanted, and want to go against it just because she didn't get her affairs in perfect order before she passed. That's crappy. You know what she wanted. You know she intended for things to be a certain way, and you value the bureaucracy more than her last wishes for her things. But you also aren't obligated to help with any mortgage, and she's crappy for expecting you to. So, a bit of a backstory. My husband's brother and his ex-wife have a daughter, my niece. They got divorced almost 9 years ago now. She filed after finding out he'd been cheating for most of their relationship. He is still with the same woman he cheated with, and as far as we know, is happy. My niece is almost 10. I have stayed friends with my niece's mother, and we talk and have kept a good relationship, as she allows me to see my niece, and it's nice to see what's going on in my niece's life. My brother-in-law doesn't see his daughter very often, so it's even more important I have a good relationship with Jennifer, so I can see Amber, who is obviously important to me. Over the last few years, Jennifer got into a new relationship and recently got married. We were all invited, including my brother-in-law and his girlfriend, as my niece wanted everyone there to celebrate. We have not kept it secret that we were going, at all. My brother-in-law knew we would be there, and never said a word about how he didn't want us to go. I am friends with Jennifer, and my niece specifically asked us to be there, so yes, I'm going. Fast forward to the evening of the wedding. We were sitting around the table enjoying our food, and my brother-in-law messages my husband. He says that he can't believe we are at his ex's wedding, and he feels betrayed, and that he would never go to my wedding if my husband and I divorced. He doesn't even talk to me now. I'm under no impression he would speak to me again if my husband and I divorced, despite having been in his life for nearly 20 years now, and despite having a nephew for him to see or ask about. Also, he wouldn't be invited. My husband calmly explained that we were there for Amber, and that Jennifer and I are still friends. He then says, well, they are only friends because I introduced them. Insert giant eye roll. Needless to say, I lost no sleep. I'm always going to be there for my niece and her mother. I am so happy that she found such a wonderful person who makes her happy and treats her like she should be treated. In reality, I know that my brother-in-law is a narcissist, and what he is really mad about is that he can't control her anymore, and so he will try to control the people around her instead. I have never fallen for his bullcrap, but the people in his life tend to ask how high when he says jump, and he has this weird power over people. So he's probably super distraught that we went without his permission. So am I the a-hole for going and not caring that he's mad? My view is he cheated on her continually, and he messed up the relationship. He's supposedly happy now with the same woman since then, but Jennifer has been in and out of a couple relationships, also pretty toxic, and now that she is happy, he cares. I don't care what he does or who he sleeps with, but if you're happy, then be happy, and let Jennifer be happy as well. If I was his girlfriend, I would be pretty concerned about why he cares so much. You can be friends with whoever you want and can go to any wedding you want, just because your brother, heck, he isn't even your brother, but only brother-in-law, messed up this relationship doesn't mean you can't be friends with her anymore. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole 100%. His relationship ended because of his own actions. You don't owe him any explanation of why you went. Also, info. Has the divorce been messy regarding their daughter? Because that could be a valid explanation for his sudden outburst. Not the a-hole. Jennifer and Amber are family to you. You're also friends, and your niece wanted you there. I wouldn't be surprised if your brother-in-law and his daughter lose their relationship. You don't have to like your exes, but try and be there for the kids. Jennifer was nice to even invite him. I co-parent with my ex. We're not on great terms, but we're civil. I still take my children to his parents' house so they can maintain a bond with them. He doesn't see his parents often as he lives further away. I'm a nurse. I do night shifts 3 times a week from 7 p.m. to 11 a.m., Monday through Wednesday. So Wednesday to Saturday, I'll have my little one, 7 female, and then Sunday she'll go to her dad's. There's 2 separate arguments that led up to this one. I'll try and keep brief. My daughter loves American Girl dolls. I've been buying them for her since she was 5. We're in the UK, but I've yet to find something she likes as much. Problem is, my ex's partner's daughter likes them too. They just can't afford them. This year, I bought a doll in set, and it was like 400 plus. So they claim I'm doing that to make a rift. I'm not. They recently had a baby, and my ex's partner was sick, so he was looking after the baby. So on Tuesday around 12:30, I'd been asleep like an hour. They phoned and texted asking if I'd pick up my daughter. I refused, and they were still texting me that night asking, which I couldn't even see. When I picked my daughter up, my ex's partner essentially said maybe instead of spoiling my daughter, I could actually be a mother instead of part-time. I said to her maybe if she worked, her daughter wouldn't try and steal my daughter's Nintendo Switch or dolls. I got a text from in-laws asking if I'd visit. I said maybe if I'm not too busy being a part-time mother. They asked, and I explained. Apparently they got upset with my ex, and it's caused issue with them, and he asked why we can't just be civil for the children. But he says his partner has a point since Wednesday I only get her at 4 p.m., but she didn't mean it. She's just sick and they recently had a baby. 3 months. Am I the a-hole? Probably irrelevant how much I spent on the doll, but my ex did decide to Google it when I told him, so as far as I see it, they wouldn't have otherwise known. Not the a-hole. She meant it. All of the other stuff can be talked through. Pickup times, what toys to bring when visiting, etc. But the petty BS needs to stop, or the talking can't happen. Edited to add, if new partner doesn't want damaging stuff repeated. Not the a-hole. You are not a part-time mom. You are following the current parenting plan. You happen to have a job where you work non-traditional hours. If you had full-time custody of your daughter, you'd find a different way of managing. The American Girl dolls are a distraction. Just tell your daughter that if she doesn't want to share with her step-sib, not to take those particular dolls to the other house. She can play with them at your home. Not the a-hole. If your ex doesn't want you spilling tea to his parents, he shouldn't be encouraging your continued contact with his parents. If he's going to leave that door open, then he has to accept that they will be privy to your perspective as well as his. This doesn't give you carte blanche to stir up trouble, but it's silly to not expect that a deep cut like part-time mother wouldn't get around. I, 33 male, have been with my girlfriend 30 for a little over 2 years now. In every aspect, she's an amazing person, and I love her dearly. Last night, we sat each other down, and we just had an open and true discussion about our relationship and where we saw it progressing. I was happy to hear that she had been thinking about marriage eventually and starting a family, because so had I. Sometime during the conversation, she states that before we even talk about marriage further, she wanted to know if I would get my tattoo removed, because she just didn't like the idea of marrying a guy who had a tattoo dedicated to their ex. And I said there was absolutely no way. I was with my ex Kate since our last year of middle. She was my first love. She taught me everything that makes me the man that I am today. We experienced so much love and life together, so when she passed away when we were 24, it broke me. I became a person I didn't even recognize, and although her passing was expected, it took a lot out of me. It took years and hard work and therapy to get to the point I'm at now. With that being said, Kay loved penguins, all penguins, but her favorite penguins were Magellanic penguins. At one point, we had a membership to our local aquarium, and we would go there every Thursday just to see the penguin exhibit. So, shortly after Kate passed, I got a Magellanic tattooed on my thigh, and it's been there for the past 9 years. It's no bigger than my palm, but I refused to get it removed. When my girlfriend was made aware of my stance on the tattoo, it led us into an argument and ended with her leaving. She called me an a-hole and said that no woman should have to be reminded of their boyfriend's ex every day. I'm asking if I'm the a-hole or not, because although this tattoo means a lot to me, I can see why my girlfriend is upset, and I'm honestly not trying to hurt her, but I can't part with this tattoo. Am I the a-hole? She is not your ex. She is your late girlfriend. It's not the same. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your ex passed away. It's not just some random drunk tattoo of red flag. Not the a-hole. Your tattoo obviously has significant meaning to you, and you're allowed to remember and cherish your past. I can see why your girlfriend wouldn't want a tattoo of an ex or their name, but it sounds like she only knows the meaning of this tattoo because you've opened up about it and explained it, which is a privilege for her in itself. You don't need to explain anything on your body. You said Kay made you who you are today. That is the man your girlfriend loves. The tattoo is part of who you are and your journey.